And good afternoon, everyone. I know it's not typical for us to be around the computer this late afternoon, early evening, but one game and one game only. We're going to get rid of this thing as soon as possible. Not really, but the truth is, here on the 418 Fire American Soccer Show, we're reviewing now the round of 32 in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Once again, from Cascadia FC, Michael Martinez joining me once again. Canada calling it very, very late. Twitchy bum time, if you want. We all thought that we have another 30 minutes of this nil-nil fest until finally Canada gets their goal, 1-0 in second half stoppage time, and they hold on for their first ever victory in a knockout stage in a FIFA World Cup. You know, Jesse, we got to admit, Jesse occasionally does some of the silliest things out there. He'll try to pick a fight with the opposition. He'll try to pick a fight with the referee. But, when he gets his team motivated, man, oh man, he gets them motivated, and they actually do things the right way.
They really do. I mean, there's a lot of things that went wrong for this Canada side today. But at the end of the day, Eustachio got himself with plenty of room on the top of the box, and he scored the winner. Like, Canada did what they needed. I'll argue that. They did what they needed to do to get the win, and they went through.
Yep.
Really Jesse Marsch, he's kind of unbearable at times, but that's just kind of how he is. He's embracing that, so it's fine.
Yeah, I will admit with Jesse, he likes to play the villain sometimes. He just loves to have everyone, he likes to deflect off of his players, and he likes to bring in all that pressure and put it on himself. Sometimes I think Jesse should back off of that and just be a head coach. I'm not saying you can't be upset. I'm not saying you can't have your complaints. I'm not saying you cannot challenge the referee or at least have a conversation with the fourth official. But for goodness sakes, Jesse, just try and dial it down just a little bit. You don't have to play, they all judged me the wrong way. How dare they insult me? Villain type. But, honestly, he should just be grateful and proud. I know he's proud because he already talked to his players at the end of the game. But still, though, he's got to just dial that down just by a couple of notches.
He's kind of had that complex even when he was at the Fire back in the day. Like, this is how he always is. And honestly, like, what happened in England definitely didn't help. It's definitely like, depending on how far Canada goes, and they continue to do really well. His time at Leeds will definitely be his villain origin story, and I think he'll be even more insufferable than he was before.
Why, of course he will. You don't know him by now?
Unfortunately, I do.
Well, Michael, this is what I've had to endure with Jesse for the 3 to 4 to 5 seasons at Red Bull New York when he was the head coach, which, look, I love Jesse a lot. He's one of my favorites, very respectable. Like, when he's not in front of the camera, a very respectable guy. I can definitely tell you that. You can always have a conversation with him. He's great. But still, though, this is who he is, Once the camera's on him, once he gets down to business, you just got to take it with a grain of salt sometimes, or maybe even an entire cube of salt if you want.
He's the anti-Ted Lasso.
Yes, he is. He's definitely the anti-Ted Lasso. Yep. Yeah, you gotta, if they ever bring that back, you gotta have an episode of Ted Lasso and Jesse battling each other as head coaches for a club team, or at least have someone portray Jesse to pretend to be him. That would be fantastic. But
I'm sure they will.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. Why not? But man, oh man, I tell you, this was a very, very hard-fought match. Canada, South Africa, going toe-to-toe every time. Did you feel Canada edged South Africa in the possession battle?
No, Absolutely not. I for me, South Africa deserved a result out of this. I feel like they had the better chances throughout their whole match,
Hmm.
and South Africa did everything right in the build-up. It's just everything in the final third, that final ball was just non-existent. I mean, the amount of times that South Africa played beautiful team ball leading up to Canada's penalty box, and then just for them to do nothing with it, it got frustrating after a while.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, how many chances Canada had to put the game away early, especially I think around a little bit around the middle of the match of the first half. The 2 to 3 chances that they really should have put the ball away, and they really didn't do that, unfortunately. I mean, you got to give credit to Rowan Williams, the goalkeeper for South Africa. He really had a fantastic match tonight, to this afternoon, I should say. There's nothing you can do about the goal. He tried his best. I mean, look, Eustachio put a hell of a rip on that one, bent it inside the near post. But I thought Williams had an excellent afternoon in goal for South Africa, keeping his side alive and keeping them going in this match. I mean, I really thought this was going to go into extra time.
I think everybody did, to be honest. I mean, everyone was. If you saw like all this stuff on Reddit or Twitter, everywhere else,
Hmm.
they're hoping that we wouldn't have to deal with this game for another 30 minutes because of how you could see it turning out to be. But I mean, Williams has been fantastic all tournament. I mean, he's had a fantastic season with Mamelodi Sundowns as well. Like he's
Hmm.
34 years old. You knew he was going to be the number one going into this tournament, and you knew his quality if you watched the South African League at all. Like I mean, his ability to make those quick reactions and even his distribution on the ball is really impressive for someone that doesn't get many plaudits or get many eyes on him. I think he deserves a bigger move for these last couple of years of his career.
Yeah, absolutely. And Maxime Crepeau for Canada, he had a great game too. This is where I think Crepeau has the advantage over Dane St. Clair. Not saying Dane St. Clair is not a good goalkeeper, he is. I just feel Dane St. Clair has a concentration problem. I think occasionally he will get a little loose in his area and he'll misplay the ball, or he'll be in a bad position and he won't recover enough to stop the chance. And this is where I think Crepeau is the number one for Canada. I think he should be Canada's number one until whoever the next guy comes up will be in the future. But he is better position wise. I just think he has better hands right now than Dane St. Clair. I just think he is more aware of what's around him inside his penalty area, especially the 6-yard box, because there was that one moment in the second half where I thought he may have misplayed the ball when it was coming from a far distance from the South African player. I mean, he was trying to make him guess and maybe lose it. And somehow, maybe he did misplay it just a tiny bit, but he still found a way to extend his arms and make the grab and just pulled it in. I mean, he could have just parried it away and coughed up a corner, but he actually hauled it in while he trapped it on the ground, holding on to it. You just got to say Crepeau probably had one of his, not counting the Qatar match because you knew they were going to kill him anyway, but I felt that was his best match so far in these 4 World Cup games.
I agree. Honestly, it's one of his better matches in a Canada shirt in general. Going into this tournament, I had my doubts with him. Like I thought St. Clair should have been the number one, just based on like last year's performances. I mean, both of them are in horrible form going into this with Orlando and with Miami. But I have to give credit to Crepeau. He did everything right today. There's a few times where I was questioning why his positioning, or like when he would choose to like parry it out instead of actually just catching the ball. Besides that one
Mm-hmm.
moment that you explained, but overall, I mean, both keepers kept both sides in this game today. And honestly, I want to talk about South Africa's center back, Mbuzaki, who plays at Chicago Fire. He phenomenal today. He was insane. He's 20 years old, and he is bodying Oluwaseyi and Jonathan David and literally doing what he wants. He ran down Liam Miller, who was through on goal and was able to get the block off in the first half. And just in awe the entire time. And I posted this on Twitter earlier that there's no way Chicago Fire hold on to him. They just
Oh
paid
no.
2.5 million for him
Hmm.
in this winter window. I can guarantee
Hmm.
they're going to have big money offers coming in the summer.
Oh, absolutely. He was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I think he was on the challenge with Richie Larea, where I don't know if it was him or his teammate just getting his stud or the front of his boot on the ball, where it looked like Larea's leg was clamped in and taken down inside the area. And I thought that was going to be a penalty, but VAR right away said, nope, not a penalty. Referee even said, no, not a penalty. And on the replay, it showed it. I mean, at first I thought, I know I missed it at the first glance on the replay, but then when you see the low angle close up, that the boot and the stud just gets on just a touch of the ball before Larea was taken down, definitely not a penalty at all. Fantastic work on the defensive end from South Africa on that point.
Oh, 100%. And I will give VAR and the referee credit for once, because I going into that, I remember watching, I was like, there's no way they don't call this a penalty. And I was livid at first. So I was like, how the hell do you not call that? But then after those replays, I was like, okay, fine, they got it right. I'll give them that.
Yeah, you'll look, even I at times have to, bring my guard down and say, all right, you had a great performance, even though you stink, you had a great performance. I thought the referee was, I will say this for the referee. I thought he had a good game, a decent game. I thought occasionally some of his calls were a little, but he had a good game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was letting a lot of play go, which was not surprising. That's kind of what referees been doing all tournament. But I mean, he was better than most, I'll say today. And I'm glad that it didn't really get overly heated, minus like that penalty call. With everyone else, like everyone seemed generally happy with his performance. But hey, you'll take it.
No, I'll take it. And this was João Pedro Silva Pinheiro. That was our referee from Portugal. And a great attendance, of course, at SoFi. 69,237 on the attendance sheet.
Damn.
That was pretty darn good. And you know what? I was also happy seeing a good Canadian presence coming down from Vancouver, from Toronto, any of the provinces of Canada, our neighbors to the north. I thought it was a great turnout. Look, it's a shame that they're not in Vancouver. Maybe automatically they should have been remaining up in Canada to have those two games. But this is what FIFA did. Look, you had to win or at least get the draw against Switzerland to remain top of the group. It didn't happen. Switzerland will play their next two games in Vancouver in the round of 32. And of course, if they do win that match, go into the round of 16, the Canada should have done better against the Swiss. They messed up. They have nobody to blame but themselves. They should have done better at the start of the second half in the last group stage game in Group B. Period. End of story. But they didn't. And now they're in SoFi. Where they go from here they're going to Houston now. Okay. Yeah. And that means for Canada, I just lost it. Let me get the brackets up here because they're not going to say it right now. But Canada is going to face let me just get to my thing. Here we go. Canada will now face the winner of either the Netherlands or Morocco in the round of 16. Damned if you do and damned if you don't, because that will be a very difficult match for Canada, whether you like it or not. It's going to be a very difficult match.
I mean, it depends if Jesse Marsh can actually change his tactics for this one, because Canada, this entire time against South Africa, and South Africa did a really good job and kind of gave a blueprint on what other teams, how they should play against them. But Canada's press was nonstop throughout the game, especially in the opening, like from the kickoff to about 75th minute, they were nonstop. And I mean, the amount, like I said at the very beginning, the amount of times that South Africa were able to create chances and have plenty of space near the top of the box because of that constant press from Canada. And a better team would have been 2-0 up against this Canada side before going to the 75th minute. And they're about to face either one of these sides who are definitely better than South Africa.
Exactly. Exactly. And for Canada, look, right now, for Canada, it's gold. Right now, it's gold.
Yeah,
You've won you've won your first knockout stage game. You already have your first goal in the World Cup on Canadian soil. After last year's tournament, you had your first goal, which was Alphonso Davies. You have your first goal on World Cup goal on Canadian soil, which is Kyle Larin. You got your first win in the World Cup finally in the game against Qatar, and now you have your first group stage match and first group stage, a knockout stage match and knockout stage win. And now you're going to face a big boy opponent in the round of 16. Whatever happens, just look. I obviously want Canada, and all of Canadians want to see this team advance into the quarterfinals. Hopefully it happens. If it doesn't, look, be proud of where you are. Right now, be happy, celebrate, head onto the streets, head to the local bar, head home, break open some beers, break open a glass of champagne and have some fun. Heck, head to the local restaurants and order a big meal and just say, hey, this is for winning a big knockout stage game in the World Cup, because right now things are going good. Things are going very good up there.
Mm-hmm. They really are. I mean, I do want to criticize Canada a little bit. I feel like Jesse Marsch didn't get his substitutes 100% correct. I mean, he did a decent enough job in the midfield after coming on. But I will praise Davies' performance after he came on 75th minute. I mean, he changed the tide of the game for Canada completely. Like, Canada was on the front foot for the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was painfully obvious that even at 50%, with like half a hamstring, that Alphonso Davies was the best player on the pitch for both sides. Like, it was insane how much quality he has.
He does.
I feel like this game the entire time was screaming for Kyle Larin, because Kyle Larin has kind of been the guy who's been kind of breaking through for this Canada side up top, and I just think that was a mistake. I mean, I'm glad Promise David came on to get some more minutes, but I think Kyle Larin should have been the one. He probably would have put the ball in the back of the net before.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I know from Apple TV's Kaylin Kyle, she was screaming for also for Kyle Larin to get subbed into this match. I really thought he should have been subbed into. Well, when you go into extra time, then maybe Kyle Larin would have been subbed in. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Maybe Jesse would have subbed in somebody else. But honestly, this match was screaming for Kyle Larin, and I thought he should have been put in at least somewhere between the 60th to 70th minute of the match, because we know what he can do. Jesse knows what Kyle can do. Now, I don't know. Maybe he picked up a knock during training. Maybe he pulled something. I don't know. We'll never know unless Jesse said something after the match in his post-match press conference. But honestly, Kyle Larin was definitely screaming to be subbed into this game. Now, who knows what's going to happen between either the Netherlands or Morocco, whoever advances to the next round against Canada. We'll find out. We'll wait and see what happens. But, right now, if you're Canadian, just be happy you got your win. You got your win in the knockout stage for the very first time. It was a great win. Fabulous setup. Fabulous chance. Jacob Schaffelberg from the far side crossed it into the area, headed away by the South African defender. And Eustachio he just settled it down and he just ripped it. And it was a fabulous shot. Finally, we get a goal in this game, and finally Canada breaks their duck.
Oh, they really did. I mean, going into this game, towards the stoppage time, I was watching it by myself at my sister-in-law's house, but I was like, this game is either going to be decided by an awful mistake, a moment of mediocrity, or someone being the hero.
Yeah, I agree.
It's either one of those three, and honestly, we got a bit above the mediocrity and a little bit of the hero ball, which, I mean, hey, it's a World Cup. Yeah. Anything can happen. You'll take what you can get.
Exactly. This is where, beggars can't be choosers. Whatever happens, it's going to happen. And you just have to hope and pray that South Africa did not find the back of the net, which they didn't. And it was, there was some great defending from Canada and also great defending from South Africa. This was a tightly defensive game. And even though I think Canada, like you said, had a little bit more of the chances than South Africa did, but This was probably a great start to the knockout rounds for the World Cup. And, we got three more games coming up tomorrow and, nonstop action. This is going to be a fun one, and I can't wait. This is what you want to see. These teams now playing desperation, and whoever can get the better of the chances and can convert those chances, they'll take the win.
100%. I mean, that's kind of the blueprint for every knockout tournament, no matter where it's being played. You got to take those moments. You got to take advantage of those chances, and if you don't, you're going to get hurt. And South Africa is proof of that.
Yeah. And look, I give credit to South Africa too. I think this is the first time they went into the knockout stage as well. Now, unfortunately, they couldn't get a win here, but still, though, when you see them and 8 other African countries advancing to the round of 32, at least into the knockout stage, it tells you that, African football is actually improving, and they're actually doing things that, not everyone pays too much attention to, which I understand. Look, it's not in our part of the world, but, you can't dismiss what you've watched and what you've seen so far in the group stage. There are these teams that are just really that good, and you cannot ignore what you've seen from your own eyes.
Oh, 100%. And I think a lot of teams, I think honestly, a lot of teams in CONCACAF should be watching how these African teams play. I mean, a lot of the quote unquote minnows in CONCACAF, they play that defensive ball, but African teams, they do that, but they do it right. I mean, we saw that with South Africa today, like the amount of times that they were just kind of absorbing a little bit of that press, and then they were able to do the quick counters. I want to see more of the Panamas do that just a little better. I want to see Haiti do it. I want to see Jamaica do it. I mean, it's these. I think more people need to start watching these African teams and just not being so ignorant towards these AFCON tournaments. And South Africa, I can't stop praising how good they are, especially Mokofena, who was playing as a 10 today. He got subbed at halftime, but he was still getting into plenty of fantastic spots in the top of the box. He was dictating play right there. And for being 21 years old, this team is super young, and they're going to continue to go far.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, we're not, that knowledgeable about what goes on in African football, but what we've seen from ourselves or whatever we're able to catch online has just been fantastic. And, just to see what's going to happen next for these teams from Africa. Now 1 down, 8 to go, obviously. We'll see how far these teams like Congo DR can go, Ghana, Senegal, and everything. And, we'll just have to wait and see what they'll be able to do, because some of them could be one and done. Some of them could go to the next round. And, you still have to be careful to see who you're going to face against and whatever the opponent will be in the next round. But for now, it's been a very good start. Can't wait to see what's going to happen tomorrow. And of course, we'll preview that right now as we take a look at the schedule for the round of 32. On Monday, June 29th, Brazil against Japan at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. This will be at NGR Stadium in Houston, Texas. We'll have Kenta on the show after that, of course. But I got to tell you, something tells me that this could be a very difficult matchup for either side, because, Japan always plays hard-nosed. Brazil plays smooth and silky, but occasionally can play hard-nosed as well. But, a clash of styles will be going against each other. But once again, when the opening whistle blows, both teams are going to throw the gauntlet down and start attacking.
Well, 100%. With this Japan side, it's all going to depend on Daichi Kamada. I think if he can control the midfield and kind of get this team going forward, then I can see Brazil having a really hard time breaking down this Japan side. And honestly, I really hope Takefusa Kubo is healthy enough to play. I haven't had a chance to look over any Matchday -1 press conference stuff.
Right.
But if he is available and ready to start, then this Japan attack will be terrifying, no matter which the front three is starting.
No, exactly. But once again, with Ancelotti as the head coach of Brazil, I have a funny feeling He's going to throw out some wrinkles. I really do, because not only is this his first time, like Pochettino, being the manager of a national team and not a club team. I really feel like, Ancelotti is definitely going to throw something weird out there, and he's going to try and get the Brazilians to go along with it. I mean, so far they have. I don't think
Mhm.
they're complaining too much. But definitely, I feel that Ancelotti is going to try and throw out a couple of wrinkles, have them ready to go against Japan. And, I think also Japan, they're going to, you never know if even the head coach of Japan may throw some wrinkles out there too. I feel like this might be a real chess match when these two teams are going to be playing each other.
I just hope that no one overthinks it. I mean,
Hmm.
Ancelotti doesn't really ever overthink it or really think about it at all. He just kind of puts the players out there and lets them do their thing. I
Hmm.
would love to see if he gave Endrick a chance, whether it's up
Hmm.
up as a 9 or on the right wing for Ryan, who plays at Bournemouth right now. But
Yeah.
I can see, like you said, I can see Ancelotti like really kind of changing up the personnel for this game. Like I can see Paqueta not getting a start and maybe having Fabinho kind of have that more of a defensive presence in the midfield with Guimaraes, Casemiro, and Fabinho. And I don't know, the match is going to be super fun for the neutral just because of the two different styles of play. I mean, it all just depends on how Japan lines up in that front with that front three and how quickly they want to start pressing Brazil.
Yeah, exactly. Then the second match will be Germany taking on Paraguay over at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Mass. 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Pacific. This is where I'm going to say this because I believe, unfortunately for Paraguay, they are done. It's going to be over. Now, I could be wrong, and Paraguay can come out of nowhere and upset Germany, which is a possibility. But to be fair, I didn't see enough out of Paraguay that says to me they're going to get into the next round of this World Cup. I just don't see it. The way they lost to the U.S., even though they did edge the Turks, they still didn't look great, even though they were down a man because of the stupidity of Miguel Almiron, which now he's been, well, no, I think he's also serving a second. Was it a two-match ban or a one-match ban now?
Just the one. He
Just the
should be
one?
back for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, he should be back in this one. So right here, I'll say this: if Miguel Almiron can be better in this game against Germany and have his redemption game, then there'll be an upset. But I just see the Germans being more methodical, more demanding, and more of the machine that they've always been in world football.
I'm hesitant with that one because Ecuador showed that you can break down Germany. They played their first team against Ecuador and they did not look all that great. They had plenty of chances, like I said, like Leroy Sané had a lot of chances on the right hand side, a lot of space,
Hmm.
but they weren't doing much with it. And I can see this Paraguay side doing something similar. Like again, it's all about what if as long as the coaches and the coaching staff watch the previous games, they can see the blueprint of how to break down this Germany side.
Hmm.
And it if Kai Havertz ends up starting for Germany up top instead of Undov, then I can see this being a very, very tight knit game just because of the styles of play. I would love
Yeah.
to see Enciso kind of break out even more. He's been pretty good this tournament so far. But if him and Andres Cubas, if they're really clicking for this Paraguay midfield, then I can see them really taking it to Germany. Maybe not getting like a really like high scoring result, but I mean they'll still cause Germany problems.
No, I agree. I agree with you there. I mean, I think in CISO, when he got hurt in that friendly, before coming to the World Cup, I thought, Paraguay was in deep trouble. I really
Mhm.
thought they were in deep trouble. And then he showed up starting against the U.S. Maybe he wasn't at 100% against the U.S. So now, after playing, these last three games, maybe he's finally back to where he is. So, he's still a dangerous guy. You cannot assume that, he's going to be, lollygagging around. He's going to be a dangerous player. And if he's finally ready to go out there and perform at his best, like you said he has been these last 2 games, Paraguay can still be that dangerous team that can threaten you in the knockout stage. So we'll see what happens there. But
Mhm.
we'll see what they do.
It should be interesting. I mean, he's still like even playing at like what 75% against the US, he still got an assist and danced around the US defense like it was nothing. He made it look easy. So I mean, obviously the US are not as good as the German defense, but I mean, still like Enciso's definitely gonna be the guy to watch tomorrow
No,
night.
absolutely, and we'll see what they do, of course. And finally, Netherlands will be taking on Morocco. They'll be down in Mexico at the Estadio BBVA in Monterrey, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Um, this is the heavyweight clash in this round of 32 we were not expecting. And boy, oh boy, it's going to be a lot of fun. This is the one where I think we're going to see power versus power. The Dutch want to get back to the final. Morocco at least wants to get back to the semifinals and make their move into the final because of what they did in the last World Cup. This is going to be a game where whoever blinks first will be the losers, and they're going to be kicking themselves if they do.
100%. I mean, both teams are very methodical in how they build up and the kind of way they attack in the final third. I have a sneaky feeling that Morocco is going to be very. Morocco, I think, will win this game for
Mhm.
me, just because with the Saibari's form and the way Diaz is able to kind of control everything in those half spaces on the right hand side.
Yeah.
With this Dutch side, their defense is so good. They have Van Hecke, Van Dijk. I mean, Van de Ven. Like every one of these players on this team has some sort of Premier League experience, and they're all fantastic. But we've seen that they kind of break down when the press really starts to hit them, and I can see Morocco doing that for them.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, the Dutch are really going strong here. Gakpo is dangerous. Brobby has been fantastic the last 2 games. I don't know. I guess he's I wouldn't say the strong silent type, but I guess he is a guy that no one expected him to be this good, and he just basically had a breakout World Cup. What, three goals already? I think already 3-4 goals already in these last 2 games. I mean, he is right now the secret weapon for the Dutch on the attack and in the goal scoring department. Him and Gakpo up top would be, it's a tremendous pair up for any team in Europe.
It really is, and they have Somerville coming off the bench. So hopefully Somerville finally gets a start because he scored twice now off the bench in these opening 3 games.
Yep.
And that front, if they decide to go with the standard 4-3-3 that you kind of expect them to do, if you have Somerville, Brian Brobby, and Cody Gakpo as your front three, that they're all fast as hell, and Brobby is strong, and that I think his hold up play is going to be key to how they break down this Moroccan defense.
Absolutely. So that's the only game we have today. Those are the 3 games that we just previewed for tomorrow in the round of 32. Before I head on out, and don't forget, everybody, if you want to watch these games on your TV at home in English, it will be on Fox Sports, and in Spanish on Telemundo. It's also streaming on Fox One and NBC's Peacock for your English and Spanish language providers. I don't know if you saw this. It's been going around the internet for since yesterday, obviously, and that is the Channel 7 ABC reporter in Los Angeles. I think you know who I'm talking about. I forget her name at this point in time. I know I can go get it. But she said something in cheeky tone about Bosnia's. I don't know where Bosnia is. Which look, I do understand why she was doing it, but you know what? Now is not the time to pull something like this because everyone on the internet is going to go after her for what she's done on television, and she obviously posted it on her Twitter page. I mean, look, look. I understand she was trying to be funny, but unfortunately, this is serious stuff. The World Cup. Don't go out there saying I don't know where to find the country on the map. Which I'm sorry, you can't. Don't pull that, please.
It's
Look, I think she's a very,
ridiculous.
and I know someone that covers San Antonio FC, knows her. She's really a good person. I'm not doubting she's not. Just when you're gonna pull something like that and it gets caught on social media, it's over. It's completely over. I'm glad she said she apologized. She was trying to be funny, and I at least I understand that. But got to know when to do something like that. You got to know when not to do it. So I mean, you just can't. You just can't do stuff like that, unfortunately.
No, honestly, it's irresponsible of her to do that. I mean, and she's just confirming more worldwide bias that Americans are stupid. They don't know anything. I mean, like, I saw that and I couldn't help just let out just audible sighs. I was like, "Are you shitting me right now? Like, you're not helping our case." And people are going to continue to look at that and be like, "Remember this girl? Remember this girl?" Like, she's going to be famous for a very long time for the wrong reasons.
Yep,
And that's why I fully
exactly.
agree that, like, if you're not covering football at a consistent basis, don't talk about it. I don't care
Right,
what outlet you're working for. Like, if you're covering this game this one time, just don't talk about it.
exactly.
It's not your place, and there's no reason for that. Like you said, it's a World Cup. It means a lot for everybody else that's playing in it. Like, don't do anything
Yeah,
stupid like that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, this is who is it? Her name is Abigail. I think it was Abigail Nunez. I think it was. But
Something like that.
anyway, look, she apologized, and even I said, I posted and I posted her apology, and I said, okay, everyone, she apologized, move on, and that's it. We're gonna move on as well because I don't want to keep on going about it because she's you know, just the wrong place, wrong time. Not don't do it during a World Cup. It's just not right. It's
No.
just not right. And then of course you got leave it to the experts like Tim Howard, who basically good old Timmy. Timmy's a Metro guy, Metro Stars guy from New Brunswick, New Jersey. Hall of Famer and everything. Does great work on NBC Sports for their coverage of the Premier League. Of course, he's with Landon Donovan for their Unfiltered Soccer podcast, Undisputable podcast, what it is. And, look, that's his opinion and that's fine. I just wish the people in Bosnia would just be like, look, don't be upset with a pundit because it gets you nowhere. If if one of our U.S. men's national team players actually says something like that, then you've got every right, and the Bosnian team has every right to be upset with them and say, okay, here's the bulletin board material. Leave the pundits alone. Australia failed with Mike Grella. Don't go after Tim Howard. Leave him alone. He's got his
Yeah.
opinion. He'll say it. How many times have you seen in England, you know, pundits are going to say, oh, we'll definitely, mop the floor with them. And, do you see them get upset at the English? No, they don't get
Well,
upset at
it doesn't help that there's already an American bias against that, and
them.
he's now the third American to say something stupid about another
Yeah,
team in this tournament. So I mean, again, it's just confirming people's biases against us, and it's unfortunate. Like, yes,
it is.
it's funny, whatever else they're doing for clickbaits, but like, there's a time and place, Like, maybe, like,
Exactly.
if they beat them afterwards, then you can be like, oh yeah, I knew they'd win, haha, Bosnia sucks or whatever. But like,
Right.
don't do it before. Time and
Right.
place, man.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all. Just don't do it before. Look, whatever you want to say after the game, so be it. That's fine. The game's over. Who won? This team won. Who lost? That team lost. Now we can talk about it and we can just discuss it. But other than that, once again, I respect everyone that used to play. I respect them as a pundit. I respect them, whoever it is, either on ESPN FC or Football Americas, on CBS Sports Galazo, your own personal podcasts. Go ahead, give us your opinion. Tell us why you think, this will happen in the game or that will happen in the game. Let's not go out there and insult them before the game, please, because it just does no one any good for the fans and for the current players on the current roster right now. Just
Pointless.
isn't. Exactly. Anything else you want to talk about before we call it an afternoon?
No, but I think we covered it all.
I think we did.
One game makes it a little hard to do more, but
No, I know. But look, I think we got it down in record time. I think it's been a pretty good show so far, and we are now in the round of 32. We are now in the knockout stages, everybody, and so this has been a really great World Cup at this point in time. We'll see what happens these next 3 games tomorrow. Once again, it should be fun and exciting. You'll join Michael Martinez and myself tomorrow. We'll have Kenta back on because he only has one team to work on, and that's Japan. Everyone else got kicked out. So I feel bad for him.
Australia. It's still Australia. He has 2.
Oh, that's right. There's 2 games. I'm sorry. 2 games. Sometimes I keep forgetting Australia begged to leave Oceania to be part of Asia. Whatever. It's all good. Well, anyway, everyone, thank you for watching us this afternoon, early evening. Once again, the final score is South Africa 0, Canada 1, and Canada moves on to the round of 16. And join us here tomorrow night for another round of 32 match day review. Thanks again to Michael Martinez of Cascadia FC. Read your daily Pacific Northwest footy with him over at Seattle, Jeremy Peterman in Portland, and of course the Vancouver Whitecaps as well. For Michael Martinez, I'm Daniel Feuerstein. Thank you for joining us today. And as always, once again, please enjoy your football. Have a good day. So long. Bye-bye for now.